So back in 1939, on a really cold, dark day, the great Irish poet W.B. Yeats died. But his death actually inspired one of the most powerful elegies ever written, W.H. Auden's Tribute. In this poem, it's not just about mourning a friend. It's a really deep dive into death, arts, and what it actually means to leave a legacy behind. Auden's poem kicks off with a question that, we've probably all wondered about at some point. It sets the stage for everything that follows. What really happens when a great artist dies? I mean, when a voice that literally shaped how we see the world is just gone.
And this is Auden's starting point right here. The person, the physical body, is gone. And for the most part, the world just keeps on spinning. But the art, the words, they don't just stick around. They actually transform. So let's dig into how Auden makes this incredible case.
Okay, so part one of the poem. Now you might expect it to start with praise or some fond memories, but Auden does the complete opposite. He paints this brutally cold, almost indifferent picture of the day Yeats died. This opening line is just so stark. Notice he doesn't say he died or he passed away. He says he disappeared. It's a word that's just filled with this sense of emptiness and finality, like a huge force just vanished from the world, leaving nothing behind. And look at how Auden uses the world around him to mirror death itself. Everything is frozen, it's still, it's lifeless. The brooks, the statues. He even describes the day itself as dying. It creates this powerful image of a world that's been completely drained of warmth and life. And then Auden hits us with this really sharp contrast. While the human world feels frozen, the natural world, the wolves, the river, it just keeps going, completely unaffected. Life continues, totally indifferent. And crucially, he points out that Yeats's death is something his own poems will never know about. They're separate from him now.
Auden uses this absolutely incredible metaphor to describe the physical act of dying. It's not some peaceful fading away, no. It's a violent collapse, like an internal rebellion. The empire that was the man, all his thoughts, his feelings, his physical being, is just overthrown from the inside.
And then we get to this huge turning point. After the body fails and consciousness is gone, what's left? Well, Auden's answer is a total transformation. The man, William Butler Yeats, is gone, and in his place, something entirely new emerges. So what does that even mean, to become his admirers? It means he's not just a person anymore. He's an idea. His work is now totally free from his control, and it takes on a new life inside every single reader. His words get reinterpreted, they get felt, and they get changed by the experiences of everyone who reads them. He survives, yeah, but not as himself. Now, in the second part, the poem itself kind of shifts gears. Auden pulls the camera back from the specifics of Yeats's death to ask a much bigger question. What's the point of poetry anyway? What does art actually do in the world?
I love this line because it's so incredibly humanizing. Auden is reminding us that even a literary giant like Yeats was, at the end of the day, just a person, with flaws and silly moments just like the rest of us. But his gift, his art, that was separate from his personal weaknesses. It transcended all that, and it endured.
Here, Auden is suggesting that great art often comes from great pain. For Yeats, the violent, turbulent history of Mad Island wasn't just some backdrop to his life. It was the wound that produced the pearl. His suffering, both his own and his country's, was the very source of his poetic power. And here it is, probably the most famous, most debated line in the entire poem. Now, at first glance, it sounds incredibly cynical, right? Almost dismissive. Is Auden really saying that art is useless?
And this is the paradox Auden wants us to really wrestle with. If a poem can't stop a war or pass a law, does it have any real value in our pragmatic, results-driven world? It's a tough question.
But Auden's point is so much deeper than that. See, poetry doesn't make things happen in the same way a politician does. It operates on a totally different level. It doesn't act, it survives. It exists as a way of happening, a mouth that gives voice to our experiences and offers us a brand new lens to see our own lives and the world around us. Okay, so we've arrived at the final section. And the tone shifts again. It becomes this direct address, almost like an instruction manual for the poet. And we have to remember the context. This was written in early 1939. Europe is literally on the brink of World War II. So when Auden talks about a dark world, he means it. This is such a beautiful, gentle farewell. The body was just a temporary container, a vessel for the art. And now that it's done its job, it can be laid to rest. The poetry it once held has been poured out into the world, which is where it truly belongs.
Auden makes this incredibly powerful claim here about what actually lasts. Time, he says, is brutal. It destroys courage, it erases physical beauty. But the one thing time respects, the one thing it preserves and even worships, is language. Great words, he's saying, outlive great deeds.
And here we are, the emotional core of the entire poem. This isn't just a description, it's a command. This is the poet's true job, especially in those dark times that Auden saw coming. In a world full of emotional emptiness, these deserts of the heart, the artist's job is to create a source of hope, of rejuvenation.
And that healing fountain, that for Auden is the true purpose of art. When we feel lost or alone or broken, poetry can offer comfort and understanding and a reason to hope again. It makes life more bearable. It's as simple and as profound as that.
So, let's bring this all together. After this journey through death and reflection and duty, what's the ultimate takeaway here? Why does art, and specifically poetry, actually endure?
Okay, so the core messages are pretty clear. An artist's body is temporary, but their work can achieve a kind of immortality. Poetry's power isn't in direct action, but in its ability to survive and shape how we think and feel. Its highest calling is to be that healing fountain, and its life truly begins the moment it enters the mind and heart of a reader.
And this is Auden's final powerful command. Life can often feel like a prison, right? It traps us in routine and hardship, and the poet's job is to break through those walls and teach us, the free man, how to find moments of beauty and joy and meaning, to teach us how to praise life even when it's dark. And that leaves us with a final thought, because this isn't just about Yeats or Auden. It's about the art that has shaped each and every one of our lives. So think about it. Which artist's words have been modified in the guts of your life? And how have they taught you how to praise?